Mayflies. You've probably heard about their huge swarms during the spring and summer months, or their short-lived adult lifespans. But what other interesting characteristics and adaptations do these insects have? Hello, my name is Henley Gavin, I'm from Lexington County, and today I'm going to be presenting on mayflies. So, what even are mayflies? Mayflies are mostly aquatic species, spending most of their life in rivers, streams, and lakes. There are over 3,000 different types of mayflies globally, and they are in the order Ermaphytera. Diagram of a mayfly. To get to know mayflies a bit better, I'm going to be going over a diagram of their adult form and their nymph form. The adult form of a mayfly is rather simplistic because they only live for one day. In fact, the adult mayfly doesn't even have functioning mouth parts or a functioning digestive system. The adult mayfly has a head, foreleg, middle leg, hind leg, thorax, abdomen, and cerci. They also have forewings, and some mayfly species have hind wings. Where the mayfly gets interesting, however, is their nymph stage. Something that's interesting about this stage is that the nymph will have gills on its abdomen. These gills can vary in size and shape depending on the water quality of the habitat the mayfly nymphs are living in. Another interesting thing is that they have 2 compound eyes on the side of their head and 3 ocelli, or simple eyes, on the top of their head. These ocelli only have a single lens. The life cycle of a mayfly. To start off this life cycle, the female will lay eggs on top of the water or on a rock. After 2 weeks, the eggs will hatch into nymphs. These nymphs will live for about 1 to 2 years before coming out of the water as emergers. These emergers will then turn into duns. The duns will live for lifespan lasts for about a day until it molts again and turns into an adult mayfly, which is also known as a spinner. Once the spinners mate and lay eggs, their body will start to fail them or they will die. This is known as a spent spinner. Mayfly nymphs. There are 4 different types of mayfly nymphs. These 4 different types are crawlers, clingers, swimmers, and burrowers. Crawlers. The crawlers are specially adapted to live in slower moving streams. These crawlers have adapted to live in these slower moving streams by having specialized gills to take in the lower oxygen amount. Swimmers are similar to crawlers in that they live in a habitat where there are slower moving waters. Where these mayflies differ, however, is that they have specialized fans on their gills that allow them to swim. They swim by moving their tails up and down, similarly to a whale or a dolphin. Clingers. These mayfly nymphs are specially adapted to living in very fast-flowing rivers and streams. They've adapted to these fast waters, rivers and streams by having very strong front and back legs that they use to grasp onto solid surfaces such as rocks. Another way they have adapted is by having very flat bodies. This keeps the water traction down and keeps the current from washing them away downstream and possibly becoming food for a predator. Burrowers. These are my favorite types of mayfly nymphs because of their cute face and their unique adaptation where they will actually build burrows underneath sediment and they will live there for most of their life until emerging out of the water. This adaptation keeps them protected from predators. Another adaptation they have is having very frilly and feather-like gills. This allows them to filter out the sediment in the water from the oxygen, allowing them to breathe in very murky conditions. Fossil records. Believe it or not, mayflies have been around for over 300 300 million years. And through those 300 million years, they honestly haven't changed that much. If you look here at a mayfly nymph fossil, you can see that they look pretty similar to the mayfly nymphs that we see today. Another fossil that you can look at is this adult mayfly in amber. This adult mayfly still has all of the things that we see in adult mayflies today. The impacts of mayflies. Mayflies have had a large impact on different cultures as well as the habitats that they live in. The ecological impact of mayflies. Mayflies are an indicator species, meaning that they can indicate a healthy or unhealthy environment. Ways that they can indicate this are their population. If there is a high population of mayflies, then it is safe to assume that the water that they are living in is rather healthy because it would have high oxygen levels. It would not have very high levels of harmful chemicals. Another ecological impact of mayflies is the different type of animals that rely on them as a food source. Different types of fish, such as trout, rely on them heavily as a food source, as well as amphibians, reptiles, birds, such as ducks, and different types of insects. Their cultural impact. Mayflies have had a huge impact on human culture. Ways that they have had an impact on this are fly fishing. Many fly fishers will use adult mayfly flies or mayfly fly nymphs to catch trout and other types of fish. Another cultural impact are mayfly festivals. These festivals are normally used to symbolize the changing of a season whenever mayflies emerge. Another cultural impact is in art, literature, and poetry. This is a mayfly vase that I have made. Mayflies are commonly used to symbolize making the most of one's life, even if it is short. Mayflies in danger. As you may have heard me talking about, mayflies can be heavily susceptible to changing water qualities. This has caused mayflies, 20% of mayflies, to become threatened. Mayflies are also endangered due to habitat destruction, climate change, as well as water pollution. So, how can we help these mayflies? A way to help mayflies are the Adopt a Stream program. This is a wonderful program in South Carolina that monitors stream and river conditions. Ways that they monitor them are monitoring pH levels as well as other chemical levels in streams, as well as looking at the macroinvertebrate species in streams. These macroinvertebrates even include mayfly nymphs. Sources. A wonderful source that helped me a lot during my presentation was Mayflies by Malcolm Knopf and Robert Corminer. This book helped me a whole lot with understanding the different type of ecological impacts mayflies have, as well as their different types of nymphs. A lot of different website sources were used for this presentation, such as Natural Geographic, Life and Freshwater, and the Washington Post. Conclusion. Throughout this presentation, I've gone over the life cycle of a mayfly, the different types of mayfly nymphs, a diagram of a mayfly, as well as the cultural and ecological impacts that mayflies have on their habitat that they live in. Another thing that, the reason why I decided to present on mayflies today was because I would like to be an entomologist when I grow up. An entomologist is someone who studies bugs. And as an entomologist, presentations like this one would be what I would have to do as a part of my job. Once again, my name is Henley Gavin. I'm from Lexington County. Thank you very much for watching my presentation.